good there. Okay. All right. Welcome back to episode 251 of the Guy and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guns and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this week's show, we'll be talking with Philip Van Cleve, president of the Virginia Citizens Defense League, about the upcoming event in Virginia, Richmond, on the 20th. And we just wanted to invite him on to tell us what's going on and how you guys can help out, how you guys can be involved. So, Philip, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on with us today. Tell us a little bit about the Virginia Citizens Defense League and how it got started and what the impetus was for this growing organization.
Okay, yeah, Troy and Doug, appreciate being on. The Virginia Citizens Defense League was founded back in 1994 at the end of that year. Virginia at that time was a may-issue state, which means if you could get a concealed carry permit, you basically had to beg a judge, and the judge could turn you down for any reason he wanted. There was no limit. And so some judges wouldn't give a permit to women because women don't need guns, the judge would say, and others wouldn't give them to men because why do men need guns, women need guns, and some wouldn't give them to minorities. Some would give them to anybody that asked, which was great, and others just to donors or something, So like in Fairfax County, 1 million people, they had 3 permits, Oh, so wow. we got the law changed the first year in 95. Virginia since has been a shall issue state. We now have 660,000 permit holders in Virginia. We also work to now honor all permits. Our group fought for that and got that done about 3 years ago. So we do Kentucky, you name it, all the states are honored in Virginia right now. So anyhow, we're a watchdog, and we also educate our members. We have 36,000 on our email alert system that we have. So that's what we do. And we now find ourselves in the position of basically a governor who's declared war on gun owners, as well as the leader of the Democrats in our General Assembly. So they've got a bunch of bills Virginia's got excellent gun laws. We really do. We can carry almost anywhere. Permits are shall issue, blah, blah, blah. We have local preemption, so there aren't any local gun control laws. You learn state law and you're good. But they want to change all of that. They want to get rid of ARs, AR-15s, restrict your magazine sizes, red flag laws. And I'm sure you guys have talked about red flag and how dangerous those laws are.
Yeah.
Pass all of that. And I tell you what, the state is awoken in a way I've never seen in the 20 years I've been doing this. I mean, grassroots standing up, thousands of people, 3,000 turning out at a board of supervisors where they're lucky to ever get 50 on a really busy day. They got 3,000.
Great.
So the gun rights are fighting back. So, and again, a lot of our sisters and brothers in other states want to come support us. And I think that's kind of what you're addressing with this show.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say, they got you guys stirred up. They got everybody else stirred up too. Because I live in Georgia, and I know guys here that are talking about coming up there to help out.
Yeah, we got Georgia, Texas, California. Odd things like Connecticut. They need us up there more than. But they've got people wanting to come down here, and I guess they're fighting they're communist states, and they don't want us to turn communist.
Right.
It's really nice people all spending money and coming down to Virginia. I think they see it as a firewall. If we go down, they're going to come for Georgia. This whole thing is Bloomberg. He's driving all this. He wants to disarm us, and he's got billions of dollars. So he doesn't have people like we do. He can't do grassroots like we can do, but he's got millions and millions and millions he's pumped into this state. And we're all going to have to fight that. And we're hoping that Virginia will show you how it's done if we're successful in derailing this.
Right. To see the grassroots explosion in Virginia, I've been watching it over the last couple of months since the election, and just to see how in all these counties, just over a period of a few weeks, you guys have been able to affect such a change, and to the point that I think you really scared the state leadership that they've jumped the shark, as it were. They tried to take too much too quickly, and then it's blowing up on them.
In that sense, they did us a favor. They talk about cooking a frog, that if you put a frog in water and you slowly turn up the heat, frog doesn't notice until it's too late and he's cooked. Right. But if you crank the heat up, then he'll detect that change in temperature and jump out. Well, that's what they were supposed to be doing, and they blew it. Beto was part of this, Beto O'Rourke. He admitted, oh, yeah, we're coming for your AR-15s. Oh, no, you were supposed to tell him that, and so then our governor jumped in with both feet. And, this is what it took, unfortunately, to wake up a lot of gun owners. I guarantee we turned out over 100,000 people over the last 6 weeks. Yeah. All pushing for these localities to be Second Amendment sanctuaries. Virtually the whole state is green, the color we're picking to show it's a sanctuary, including blue areas of the state. And that's because of this. Hopefully the next time these people will actually vote, and then we won't have to do this again. This is a mess.
That's the most disturbing part of this whole process is that, you've got a good percentage of the evangelicals, Christians. Like only 30% are voting. And in the same way with conservatives, there's only like 35-40% of self-described conservative people who are constitutionally founded kind of personalities that are even showing up to vote.
Yeah, it's like suicide. Why are they doing this? There are more of us than people realize. I think a lot of the purple areas in Virginia would be solid red if all the gun owners and all the other conservatives got together and voted.
Yeah, my video's frozen, so you go ahead and take it, Doug. I'm gonna fix this on the background.
You're good. Hey, I'm over on the other side talking, and we have Ed on with us talking on our YouTube channel.
He's doing a chat over there, yeah. So what is the plan? And I've lost my video and everything, so I'm gonna be working on this for a while. So go ahead and give Philip, if you would go ahead and give our listeners sort of the breakdown of the 20th. What are we looking at? What kind of meetup is it? What do you expect them to bring, not bring? I know that there's been some discussion. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. I know there's been some discussion about they're going to try to pass something on the 8th to make everything a gun-free zone around the Capitol. Is that something you've heard?
Yeah, they're going to try, and if they do, it's going to be a rule or not a law. They're not going to have time to get a law in place, so they're going to make a rule. And what that would mean was it would be a trespass. In other words, if they saw your gun and they asked you to remove the gun from the property and you didn't, then you could be charged with trespass. But it wouldn't be like you broke a law. In other words, it's like if you go in 7-Eleven. If you go in and you don't wear a shirt, 7-Eleven could tell you, well, you have to wear a shirt in here and shoes or we're not going to serve you. And if you say, well, I'm not leaving, then they can call the police and they would arrest you under trespass. Because that's not that the police care about your shirt. It's just that you're on property and you've been told to leave and you're not doing it. That's how that would be enforced. So anybody carrying a gun openly, if they pass this in the Capitol area, where the grounds are, and you can't get in the building because they have metal detectors, then you could be charged with trespass if you refuse to leave the property. And that's assuming they saw your gun. That's the beauty of concealment. But in the building right now, and it has been for almost ever, you can carry in our General Assembly building if you got a concealed carry permit. But again, they want to change that, and by the 20th, they might have changed that. So you guys coming from out of states, we don't expect you to go in the building because that could then lobby because, you're not a constituent of any of these guys. What's great is having these massive crowds out there. We can have anywhere between 50 and 120,000 people at this thing. We normally turn out 1,000 in a good year, and this is on a whole different scale. This is going to be huge. Got you back. Looks like you
finally made it.
He's back. When is it going to be?
It's it's January 20th. That's Martin Luther King's birthday. We picked that because it's a holiday for federal government and for other, but it's not a holiday for the General Assembly. They're in session. They always are, and during that holiday. And so we're going to have a rally at 11 o'clock right at the Capitol in Richmond, and we'll have speakers there. We've got a bunch of really good speakers. For example, you may have heard of Stephen Williford, and if you haven't, if the name rings a bell, he's the guy a year or two ago that stopped a shooting at a church in Texas with an AR-15. He's the guy that went in, stopped that shooting, chased the guy as he was driving his car, and the guy crashed his car and then killed himself. Stephen Williford will be one of our speakers.
Great.
You know, why do you need an AR-15? Stephen will tell you why you need an AR-15.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I mean, you're much more safe with a rifle because you're more accurate, and you don't have to put so many rounds a lot of times as you would with a pistol. I mean, pistol is fine if that's all you can carry, as a small weapon. But AR-15 is a much more safe weapon if you're using it in an area where you've got to have a good aiming ability. My son and I have been taking some courses in the last year, which I heard that they're even going to make you an outlaw if you take any kind of gun training. What is that about?
Yeah, well, again, look, when you look at all of these bills, let me just sidestep on that. When you look at a bunch of bills like this and you say to yourself, what do these bills have to do with crime? How is this? Look, Virginia's already fourth from the bottom as far as crime, as in 2018. See, but you look at them and you go, how is this going to help crime? How is taking away my AR-15 or Doug's AR-15 or Troy's AR-15, how would that help crime? It doesn't, of course. We're not criminals. And you ask, what about red flag laws? How does that really help with crime? You're leaving the dangerous person at home, and he doesn't even have to be dangerous to have his guns taken away. But the problem is you're asking the wrong question. This isn't about crime.
Right.
This is about disarmament. Now, think of all those bills in the light of taking your guns away being the reason they're doing it, and then they all make sense. Of course you want red flag. Anybody could snap your guns away, and good luck getting them back, even though you've committed no crime. Of course you want to take away AR-15s, one of the best means of, if you ever had to fight back against a tyrannical government, you'd want something like an AR-15 or an AK-47.
Right.
All of this stuff, one gun a month, all of that is to restrict and minimize the number of guns that citizens have. That's what they're doing, and this is what we're refusing to do. But anyhow, one more thing. Yeah, we have basically said that this is a lobbying day, not a protest day. So we're trying to convince these people not to pass these laws. And we're going to be putting tremendous pressure on them not to do that, to walk away from the table.
Right.
So we've generally just requested to kind of keep the focus on our message to legislators, not to bring long guns. It's not that we have anything wrong with long guns. I got my share of my. I love them. It's just that the press inevitably runs to the guys with the long guns to get pictures and everything else. And our message, it happens every damn time, our message gets lost. And so, that's it. Some people are bringing long guns, fine. It is legal. And far be it from us to try to infringe on your rights. It's just that we're saying, if you want to help, we're requesting this. The world isn't going to end if you don't listen to us. But that's the reason we're asking, is we want the attention on what we're asking for with the press to kind of get that word out. And the press will be there. They booked a lot of rooms. They're planning on being there, and probably in force.
Well, it's important. I mean, that's the whole reason that we're all going to be coming there, is to make sure that we're seeing that, this is not just five guys standing outside the Capitol.
Right.
This is thousands of people that are really upset about the decisions being made up there. So, logistics. If you guys have a communication forum, I know you've got a mailing list, an email mailing list. I signed up for that earlier in the week, and there's some different social media that they can follow. So I know that it's going to be logistically a nightmare trying to get in downtown probably that morning. Do you guys have any kind of suggestions, or are you guys going to be putting stuff out as we get closer to the date?
Yeah, well, for one thing, if you go to VCDL, that's the initials of the group, Virginia Citizens Defense League, VCDL.org. Right on the front page, we have our buses. Well, those are the ones in Virginia, but we're also listing other ones that we're not doing. And so there are buses coming from various states. That's one option. We're also listing where parking is, and we're going to try to get shuttle buses lined up. All of that is being handled on VCDL. .org. Also, if you scroll down, you can take a look at the map of Virginia. You'll see the sanctuary city thing and sanctuary locality thing we've done and how successful that has been. It's just incredible, that map. Just overwhelming. And I know of Kentucky and a lot of these states, Georgia, your maps would look the same if you ever had to do that. I think
we're in the process of it here in Kentucky. We're already working on it. We've got several counties already having meetings. We've got one coming up, I think, in the end of the month. I'm hoping it doesn't correlate with the one in Virginia, but we've got. It started out with like 30 guys, and it's in the thousands now that are already coming on board, that are getting in the same position, starting the sanctuary counties here in Kentucky as well. I mean, we join your border there.
Yeah,
we have some reciprocity with Virginia in all ways. The last time you guys had a threat like that, I can remember that the last governor, what was his name?
Yeah, McAuliffe.
McCall, yeah, and so they threatened to pull his security detail off of him, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, and they tried to take away reciprocity, and people said we're going to lose reciprocity with Kentucky and North Carolina. Oh man, that was the other time we had a kind of an awakening. Yeah. This even puts that to shame. This one's even more powerful than that one. But by the way, that is something they could pull. Yeah. They could take that away again, and you wouldn't be able to carry here.
Yeah. I mean, I remember we had a show about, Virginia is not for gun lovers when McAuliffe did that. That was one of the shows we did, and about how I'd just been there and took the family. We homeschooled, and so we traveled to Virginia. We spent about almost 2 weeks there, going to different historical sites and things, and teaching the kids history about Virginia and about the United States, its founding. And then it wasn't long after we left there that they, and I saw Gadsden flags everywhere in Virginia when I was there. And I was like, man, this place is great. I love that they're so constitutionally minded and so standing up for the rights. And then it wasn't long after that McAuliffe started that stuff up. And I was like, yeah, Virginia's down. And then you guys came back and rallied and shut him down. I loved it.
We shut him down. We only honored, I forget what we honored, like 30 states. And when that was over, we honored everybody. So we actually moved the ball forward.
Right.
It was our attorney general that tried to pull that, not the governor.
Oh, okay.
He was kind of not fighting it, but we negotiated with the governor, and we ended up getting all states honored. So it was a win in the end.
So that shows you. I mean, you just got to get out and make noise and let people know, and then they'll back off or they'll get out of power.
The worst thing you can do is give up. That's the worst thing, and that's what they want you to do. They want you to say, oh, there's no need. My vote doesn't matter. We're outnumbered. We're losing. That's what they want. And so many gun owners fall for it. They go, oh, yeah, I'm not going to vote. What's the point?
That's the lie they want.
What they want. You've fallen into a trap that will steal power from you when there's actually so many. There's 2 million gun owners in Virginia. We only have 8.5 million people. If all of us voted, there isn't a darn thing we couldn't do.
Right. It's. I can remember back in the days when the Clinton gun ban, when that went into effect, and all these people that were gun owners, not AR-15 owners, but were gun owners, sat back and said, "Oh, I don't care. Nobody needs one of them guns anyway." And short-sighted themselves and allowed that stuff to go through and didn't stand up and get up and make some noise about it. And that's what we had 10 years of that garbage finally before it sunsetted. But it was just ridiculous, that people would sit back and because they didn't have that kind of gun. They didn't want to put any capital in it. They didn't want to put skin in the game.
And let me give you this warning for your listeners in your states. What they tried here, we predicted. They were going to take away our AR-15s. No compensation. They're going to be illegal. You either have to sell them or out of state or whatever. Turn them over to the police. And then I predicted this, and then they said, we're going to grandfather them. That's silly. We're going to grandfather them. You can keep them if you've got them. And to that we said no. We said no. We are not going to give away the rights to own an AR-15 or any other semi-automatic to the next generation. Who are we to take away their rights? Just like if our fathers had taken away our rights, we wouldn't have them now. So we're not accepting any compromise on this stuff. The answer is no. on anything to do with taking away semi-automatic rifles. No, period. No grandfather. We don't care. Grandfather, don't grandfather. We don't care. We're not accepting any of it.
Amen.
You can. I just want to tell you one real quick. You guys were a gun-loving state until the new government came in, and now look what you're going through. We have the same thing in Georgia. We have a Georgia state senator that is trying to push a bill up. It hadn't went into a committee or nothing because it probably won't go anywhere as of right now. But that she pushed one up that she wants to ban all semi-automatic weapons, period. The handguns, shotguns, whatever.
That's all part of the goal. And by the way,
yeah.
when you think, so the guys are thinking, well, I got my revolver, so I'm good. No, tell me the difference. If you're watching a person shoot a semi-automatic and shoot a revolver, what's the difference? I believe with both of them, you pull the trigger and it goes bang each time.
Right.
Well, if they decide that that's evil in a semi-automatic, then they can come right around and say, well, it's evil in a revolver.
Right. And they will.
They will. Look, and this is important for the hunting guys too. That's the other group that sometimes says, they're not going to come for my rifle, so why should I get involved? You are delusional if you think they're not coming for your hunting rifle. You mean that sniper rifle that's got that high-powered scope on it so you can kill people at distance? That gun you don't think they're going to come for? Oh, and your shotgun? That thing that with one pull of the trigger blasts out 30 bullets or 50 bullets all at the same time? That tool of death, they're not going to take that? Oh, yeah. Look at England. They're coming for all of it.
Yeah. They're down to their knives now and hammers.
It'll be your knife after that. You can't carry a pocket knife.
And if you can keep the shotgun, it's kept at the hunting range or whatever that you have. You can't bring it home. So you may be able to own a shotgun, but you forget self-defense with it. Forget. No way. You'll have to leave that somewhere. So let's not go there, guys. This is really the last stand for this. If we lose the Second Amendment, then we're going to lose it all. That's the canary in the coal mine. When that canary dies, that's it. Everything else is going to go with it.
Well, it's enslaving us. We will no longer be citizens. We'll be subjects. We'll be subject to the ruling authorities. We won't have any say-so. They'll take away our right to vote. Once we don't have the right to be able to defend ourselves or the right to be able to protest in the First Amendment, then we won't even have the right to vote. They'll just decide who's going to be in charge.
Well, look at the name of the your group here. God and Guns. You think God's going to hang around? They're going to let God be in this?
Oh yeah.
They're going to go. Well, who needs to be a Christian?
Right.
Believe me, we've seen this before. This is coming. At some point the kids are going to grow up in an atheist society where they have no control of anything. Basically slaves. This is crazy that people want this. That anybody would want that much power. I don't get it. You wouldn't get it either. None of us do. But trust me, just like there are people that will murder little children and then not bother them, go have lunch after they do it. There are people that want power so bad they would sell us all out. And that's in a lot of countries when they did that, then you end up having massacres. How many millions were killed by governments during the last century? Democide
was the largest form of death in the 20th century. That you had all these communist and socialist countries just killing off their own subjects and because they wanted to rule, and they wanted to rule without any kind of blowback. The first thing, of course, is gun control. The first thing to do is go in there and restrict, and then they want to register them, then they want to come and confiscate them, and then they can do off with anybody that raises their voice to them.
Pol Pot, you remember him?
Yeah.
Well, he killed anybody that had an education. In fact, he would have killed you because you have glasses, believe it or not.
Yeah.
For them, they feared you'd be educated, and they didn't want you. They'd kill you.
Yeah, any religious person, any teacher, any kind of professor, anyone with knowledge, and anybody they thought was smart, they want to finish them off. Yeah, they want peons is what they want. They want you to pay your taxes and shut your mouth and be their slave.
Yeah, I don't get it, but there it is. And if we don't stand up and we don't stop all of this, we told our members, you get the inevitable. Oh, I'm just going to leave Virginia and go act to X. And I told them, where is X? I mean, Texas. If you look what's going on there, even Georgia, Florida. The same fight.
the same thing is happening. I'm sure in Virginia, it's happening in Kentucky. We've got people that are fleeing the northern states that are just run into just the Democrats are running them into the ground. They're just so overtaxed, and so few jobs and so many restrictions. They flee out. They come into Kentucky. They come into Virginia, and they vote for Democrats again. And they get the same stuff in our state. What they used to call them the gosh, carpetbaggers coming down from the old Mason-Dixon line. They come down from the north, and they're bringing their stuff with them. It's infuriating that you have that that migration of people that are leaving their state because of the policies of the politicians they voted for, and coming here and voting for the same garbage and destroying this place. It's just like they're so short-sighted.
Definition of insanity, doing the same thing multiple times and expecting different results.
Right.
No, if you want all the giveaways they've got up north, then you're going to end up with the taxes they had up north. There's just no way to get around that.
They need to stay in the north.
Yes, absolutely. Stay up there. Well, look, I'm from Illinois originally. I was born up there and then moved to Texas when I was 15. But most of our board is from up north and around other places, but none of us want Virginia to be anything like where we came. We're the opposite effect. We said, we've been there. It's like we got some Russian women in the organization. And boy, you talk about people that you don't go near the Second Amendment because they've lived in a country that had nothing like that.
Right. And
boy, are they ferocious in defending it. And we're kind of the same way coming from up north and seeing the jewel that the southern states in America are, especially Virginia, and saying, not here.
Yeah. I have to think that the representatives throughout the state of Virginia have to be under tremendous pressure not to go along with the governor on this. I would think that it's going to be a hard vote for them to pass any of this stuff with all the backlash they're seeing. Are you hearing anything about are there any representatives standing up that are in y'all's more conservative districts and say, no, we're not going to go along with this yet? Or
I haven't got that far yet, but you're exactly right on that. The Democrat leadership was trying to tell us, this election is a referendum. People want gun control because they elected us. But all the strong pro-gun people kept their positions, and some of them won pretty handily. So people weren't kicking out the pro-gun guys. What happened was we had the feds come in, the courts, and re-gerrymander what they call the gerrymander district. And that's where they got the House. They won the House not because of guns, but because they changed districts to be way more left-leaning than they were, and the Republicans lost their seats in most of those. But they're trying to say, this is all about guns. So no, it's not. And some of those Democrats won. One of them won by like 40 votes. Yes. Another one won by 1,000 or so. So those guys, if they tinker with gun owners at all, they're toast in 2 years. So,
hey, my question for you is, I'm retired Air Force, so I'm military. So I took an oath of office. I want to know how the governor is going to get the National Guard. He says they're going to come in and confiscate stuff. That is an unlawful order to go against the Constitution. So I'd like to know how he's even going to get them to do it.
Well, that was one of our illustrious congressmen that put that idea out there. The governor kind of hinted that there could be retribution or whatever, or a price to pay if they became sanctuaries. But it was a Congressman McEachin that said, the governor could send in the National Guard. And I tell you what, the National Guard came out with a neutral statement, which I didn't blame them for because they actually hadn't been called in. So they were sort of neutral, basically saying we kind of like to be left out of this. The problem is, let me ask you this question. What kind of guns do you think the National Guard has at home?
The same things they're trying to confiscate from everybody else.
So what are they going to do? Confiscate from each other?
Yeah, that's one of the things I was like, I can't see that any National Guardsman that was a native Virginian would be turning his gun on his own sheriffs and leadership in those counties, or anyway against the citizenry.
Exactly. I wouldn't go if I was a National Guard and I went to Kentucky. I would not want to do anything to harm the great people of Kentucky or Georgia or any of these other states. Right. No, they don't want. These are Americans. These are you and me, but they're in the National Guard.
Right.
I think they would. I don't think they would do it. I think they'd flat say no.
Yeah, that's my hope. but you always have to be prepared for the unthinkable. But I want to think the best of people, but I've been wrong before. I'll have to say that.
Well, there's always going to be the exception. No matter what you're in, I was a deputy sheriff for 7 years in Texas, and most of those guys were great. We had a couple hot rods. I don't know how these guys got in there, but most of them were great. It's just. But you gotta watch out. There would be few people out there. Well, there's people that murdered people. So there's going to be the wrong crew. And that's why we got the Second Amendment.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at the statistics nationwide, there are more police that commit crimes than there are of the concealed carry groups. It's a small percentage, but it's a little bit more percentage of actual police officers who have committed crimes with guns than they are with people who are concealed carry permit holders. Now, with the constitutional carry, I don't know how that's skewed, but as far as with the permits, I know that the statistics were that it was even a little bit better for the constitution with the permit holders than it was with the police.
Let me tell you, actually hit a very good point. I mentioned that Virginia, according to the AP, there's an article the AP put out on October 9th about Virginia being the fourth from the bottom in crime. Mm-hmm. Guess who's at the bottom? Maine. And what does Maine have? Constitutional carry. We have constitutional open carry. They have both open and concealed. We're trying to get concealed, but we don't have it yet. But they've got constitutional concealed carry, and they had the lowest crime rate.
Right. We just enacted constitutional carry in Kentucky last year under our Republican governor. Now we've got the Beshear Democrat coming in, and the first thing on their list to do is revoke the constitutional carry for concealed carry in Kentucky. So we've got our own battle right behind you guys. We're going on the 7th of January up to Frankfort, and we're going to be protesting there. And then we've got another big rally coming up on the 30th of January. So.
You'll probably do well because this really, and it should, antagonize gun owners. What has been done wrong by gun owners? Why is he doing this? Have you had any problems with constitutional carry? I'll bet you haven't had any problems with it.
No.
So why do they have to touch it? Well, again, we're back to they want to disarm you just like they want to disarm us.
Right. They want to take over and not have anybody say anything about it. That's what it's about. I mean, it's blatantly obvious for everyone to see. I know your time's valuable. I don't want to keep you all night. It's been great getting to know your heart, getting to hear more about the organization. Any other final thoughts you want to leave us with? I don't want to keep you all night.
No, this has been fun. I enjoyed it. I guess come on down. Come visit Richmond. It's going to be an event. My wife, looking at what happened, she kind of looked at me early on and said, this is going to end up being historic. Yeah. At first, I kind of scoffed it off, and then the more I thought about it, the more I started watching this state. And, again, 100,000 people turning out in 6 weeks to say no more gun control. Right. I think she may be right. And I think that lobby day could end up being a major event.
I concur. I think that this is a point that if you don't stand up now and become a part of this, resisting and defending our country, that you'll kick yourself the rest of your life that you didn't stand when you should have.
I think this will be a good opportunity too. Everybody comes to Virginia to take a stand right now from all these other states. Maybe it'll send a message to these other states saying, maybe it may not be the right idea for us to try to push that.
Right. We need to all stand together. I've often said that the gun owners should all use the NATO doctrine. If they try to go after a hunter's guns, then the self-defense people and the target shooter should stand shoulder to shoulder and say, no, you're not getting their guns. If they come for self-defense guns, then the hunters and the target shooters and all the other gun owners, collectors, all stand together as a team and say, no, you're not getting their guns either. If we did that, we would just have a wall where or a third rail. You just wouldn't touch any part of it without getting a massive shock.
The biggest thing to overcome is people's fear. They have this fear that something bad's going to happen if they stand up or they make noise. And that's what the tyrants want. They want you to be afraid. The tyrants are trying to always push fear. I mean, that's the platform of the Democratic Party. I'm not trying to play politics here, but it's fear. They want to make you afraid of this, afraid of that, or afraid of this. And the only person that can save you is this. And you let people control you by fear, you'll be useless all your life.
You're heading down the road to tyranny. You're getting set for tyranny. Oh, yes, sir, we'll do whatever you want. Just please leave me alone.
Yeah.
Can't do that. We got to say that's our servant. Those people work for us.
Right. And there's minority. They're a minority.
Oh, absolutely.
By far, and people just have to quit letting the press make them appear bigger than life, and make that all that agenda to be what everybody wants. It's not what everybody wants.
Right.
Very, very few people want gun control.
Right.
And it's people that are afraid of the guns that the citizens have because they know that they're getting ready to do something that the citizens will use them on them for.
That's exactly. You're 100% right on all of that. Absolutely. The press lies to us all the time. But the good thing is we've got the internet where we can communicate directly, create our own news, if you will, cover things and tell the truth. Right. I mean, and Christianity's under attack. You know, between being a Christian, a gun owner, and a white male.
We're surprised every day our channel's still up. So,
Phil, it was funny down here. We had a socialist Stacey Abrams that ran for governor.
Yes, I know.
And got scary close to winning.
I know.
And she made a commercial down here, and she got on TV talking. She said that she said she believed in guns. She didn't have a problem with guns. She bought her granddaddy a shotgun, and that should be fine. People that hunt shouldn't need an AR-15. And started spouting the Constitution. I'm like, why don't you go read it sometime? Because it don't talk about squirrel hunting. It don't talk about deer hunting. It's not about hunting. It's about what you guys are facing in Virginia right now. That's what it's about.
Yeah, the founding fathers assumed that self-defense would never be something to be touched anyhow. That's a God-given right.
Right.
You can't take it away. The government didn't grant it. We were granted that at birth by God. You're not going to override him. No animal on earth disarms itself. We're the only ones stupid enough. You don't see a gazelle take its horns off before it goes in a forest. No, we're the only one that they don't have a horn-free zone in forests.
Free zone, I like it.
Well, I mean, a whole lot of that lies up in the pulpits of America that taught pacifism. There was no pacifism in the Bible. You can't find it. It's not there. Now, there's ability to lay your life down for your friend, the ability to be self-sacrificed or be martyred for Christ. But getting killed by the government because they won't want you to be able to defend yourself is not martyrdom. That's just thuggery. And same thing with someone breaking in and trying to hurt you or rob or steal or rape your wife. All those things are not allowed in the Bible. That's not something that you can passively say, well, I just have to lay back and take whatever comes. That's not scriptural. If you've got a pastor preaching that, he's not preaching the word of God, and you need to go to a different church.
Yes, turning the other cheek has been misinterpreted, I think. Right. That's about like if somebody comes up and cusses you out or does something to you in a minor way. Yeah, don't turn the other cheek and walk away. Yeah, that's brilliant advice. Great, just like the golden rule. Brilliant. So simple if you just follow it. But it doesn't mean that you have to let somebody murder you. That's like suicide if you could fight back. God expects you to protect your children. Yeah. Why did he give them to you? Not to throw them away, but to protect that sacred life. So
right, and you're called to lay down your life for your neighbor. And who's your neighbor? It's everyone around you. That's your community. As a believer, you're to lay down your life. That means that you defend that against those people who want to harm them. And so I'm just rambling on, Philip. I could do this all night.
Yeah, anyhow, it's good. We can always come on some other point if you want.
Sure. We're very thankful to have you on such short notice, and we will have in our show notes links to your guys' sites and links to the maps and things like that you guys have already provided out there, and we want to promote it as much as we can. I'm going to be there unless my wife takes me out first, but I told her I was coming, and she's like, "Oh no!" So I've been on a lot of trips this last year, but. I'm planning to be there. Oath Keepers had invited me to go with some of those guys out there to be part of your rally, and so I've been talking with those guys, and so I look forward to being out there with you guys on the 20th. And if anything else comes up, just let us know. We'd love to promote or help out any way with communications.
Sure, we want our brothers and sisters from all our fellow gun owners come out here, and who knows, someday we may have to go out there to help support you guys. It's a family.
That's right.
But yeah, and like I say, send me a link to this. We've got 36,000 people that might want to watch it. So
Yep.
I have Ed posting or sending me stuff. He's chatting with me over on YouTube side, and it's not letting him post links because I think we got it locked down. But he's basically sending me what links, and I'm posting them for him. So
Okay. I set him up as a moderator. I thought maybe I'd let him do it, but I
it
guess,
doesn't.
okay.
He still can't do it, but
Okay.
but I've been posting them for him.
Okay.
That's probably Ed Levine, yeah.
Oh, I want to tell him too. He posted this a minute ago, and we're an affiliate with Palmetto State Armory. But he was saying that your lower that has the Virginia logo on the lowers for Palmetto State, anybody that buys one of those lowers, Palmetto State is donating $10 back for each lower back to your organization.
Cool. And they sold thousands of those things. Yeah, what it's got is it's got our symbol. Of all the symbols in the United States, ours has got a woman standing with a sword over a dead tyrant. It's 6 separate tyrants, thus the tyrants. And but the logo on that lower shows her holding an AR-15 instead of the sword, standing over the dead tyrant.
That's great.
And then our logo is where the selector switch is, 6 Semper Tyrannis. So you got, safe, single, and then, multiple if we lived in a truly free country. But
right.
It's a neat lower.
Safe, fire, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Philip. We appreciate you coming on. And, yeah, you're welcome back anytime.
Okay, thanks, Troy. Thanks, Doug.
Hope to see you.
Bye.
All right. Well, we appreciate Philip coming on, and Ed's over here on the chat. So if you guys have questions for Ed, he's been posting all kinds of information. So we have got that pretty much squared away. I'm trying to find my notes now.
Yeah, they're out there somewhere.
There's some. I got three computers running, and I got 3 screens running, and I can't remember which one I'm on.
Hey Ed, if you're still on there listening, since Philip just dropped out, if you're still on the chat with us on the other side, if you will email me or Troy, it's Doug at godandgunspodcast.com or Troy at godandgunspodcast.com. Send us any information you want, email it to us, and we'll get it posted up for you.
Yeah, I'm on the newsletter, so I should be getting stuff if I can keep on top of it. All right. Well, that was good to get caught up on what's going on up there on January 20th. We hope that any of our listeners in the area can go up there and help support them, because supporting them is supporting yourself. We've heard this from all our friends up in New York and all our friends out in New Jersey. It's coming for you. If it's not there yet, it will be there. Well, it looks like we're right after Virginia. We've got a majority of Republicans in the House, and the Attorney General is a Republican. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, but I don't want them to get even comfortable for even proposing that stuff. We got a couple of Republicans actually up in Lexington, I think, that are pushing some of that stupid red flag laws and stuff. Violation of your 5th Amendment, your 14th Amendment, totally unconstitutional. There's a process by which that you can remove a gun from someone's crazy. Use the due process that they can be taken to court, and they have to prove their sanity, and they have to be able to prove that they're able to be trusted with a gun. There's a process for that. You don't have to create a express lane to take out people's rights. That's not right. That's not constitutional. It should never be allowed to happen. And anywhere it's got a red flag law, we need to be fighting against it. We don't need to let it sit there on the books. All right, so let's get into our sponsors right off the bat. We want to thank Farms Radio Network for sponsoring the show. We wanted to get Philip in and out quick, so we sort of put him at the top. It wasn't very quick, though. I think we kept him on here like 40 minutes.
Hey, it's all right. It was well worth it, though.
Very good, informative talk. So we want to thank Farms Radio Network. I also want to thank
Crossbreed Holsters. Hey, you've heard us talk about it. Troy and I carry in Super Tuck Deluxes. Crossbreed got the most comfortable holster you will ever wear. So go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross.
I'm carrying the cross.
Carrying the cross. I've been carrying the cross too. I know
our listeners out there, they're carrying the cross.
There's a lot of cross carriers. Also, PowerTac lights. Hey, I'm fixing to do I got a video I'm going to drop that I've been working on with a little demo from doing a little hog hunting and stuff, showing this headlamp that I have. But PowerTac Lights is one of our new sponsors, and man, they got deals on lights. They got pretty much any kind you want. They got headlamps, pocket lights, gun lights. They got mounts for guns with pressure switches. Anything you find on their site, they're giving you 20% discount right off the get-go for listening to us and using our promo code God and Guns. So go check our buddies out at PowerTac.com, and they'll have a light for you. Also, our affiliate link, Palmetto State Armory. Man, you guys have been kicking it over on Palmetto State.
Oh,
yeah. It's been overwhelming. Everybody that's using the link. Hey, and Troy and I just want to say thank you, first of all.
Yeah, thank you very much
for doing that for us, because everything that you guys buy, build, the whole 9 yards, Palmetto State sends a little bit of that love back to us, and we turn around and sink it right back into the show. So it's an awesome thing, and I can tell you right now, I am a person that uses our link also. So hey, why not, right?
Yep.
But go check them out, Palmetto State Armory. Use our link. Hey, if you got gun buddies out there too that like to build guns, like to buy parts, this and that, make sure you share that link with them and send it to them and ask them to please use that link also if they're buying. Doesn't cost them anything. All they got to do is just click on it. Helps us out.
That's right. We appreciate it. And I have bought, my daughter is getting an AR build, and we've been talking about what kind of build she wants. I gave her the lower for Christmas, and then I told her I was buying the rest of the stuff for her birthday coming up. And so I think she wants to do a Stormtroopers AR white and black.
There you go.
And so I'm looking for products. If you guys know of any kind of AR products that are like white powder coated or whatever, or you guys send me links to those, I'd appreciate it. Save me some trouble, because I know a lot of other people have looked at building that what they call it, wintertime camo or whatever, the snow camo. And I know I've seen a Stormtrooper one before somewhere, so I've got to figure out, maybe get her a heavy barrel or something, or a barrel shroud or something like that, so it looks like the Stormtrooper rifles. Let's see, where are we at? This week's Guiding Gun activities. What have you been up to, Doug?
Woo, let's see, what have I not been up to, man? I've been doing all kinds of stuff.
Just showed your rifle.
I just showed the rifle. I think I showed the rifle last time, but I was going to show you also for Christmas. I have a new Vortex Strike-Fire 2 red dot, green dot. Cool. That I'm going to go get my coin with next time I have the opportunity.
Hey, they got a coin coming up. You can do a coin on Saturday.
I'm going to be heading toward Arkansas.
You just have to take a northerly route and
take a drive around.
Just take a little loop there. You can get there.
I'm going to get Jesse to sell me a couple of those targets that they use with the guy with the gun on it. That's got the hit marks in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to set up here at the house and plink around with this red dot, green dot. I'm going to get it dialed in perfect.
You pretty much can take like a magazine, like a Glock mag or something like that. It's pretty much the width.
Trace it out.
Yeah, and just put in the throat, down to the sternum kind of area. They get you a mark. Yeah, he's working. I know Eric was working on him before he had to go out of country. He's on a special mission project.
Mm-hmm.
So he may not be able to get back to those for a little while since he's out of the country. I don't know if Jesse's working on those, but he was coming up with his own targets, proprietary targets. So, but I think that's a standard target you can buy. But the little I don't know what you call it, little slot.
We got the eye slot. You got the eye slot. You got the sternum slot. You got I call it the coffee can around the sternum slot. So I just want to know.
Go practice.
Just a little bit of practice.
Yeah, you just take a magazine and trace out that center section. If you could shoot an AR-15 magazine on the end, that's about the right width. Yep, just trace that right in the basket. And if you can keep them all inside of that, you're pretty be ready to go. I think
it's probably about twice. I think it's probably about 2 mags wide.
I don't think so.
It's bigger.
Oh, maybe the pistol one is. The rifle one's not.
It seemed like it was wider than that. Probably the size of a Glock mag, maybe. Do I got a Glock mag? I do got a Glock mag.
Pistol.
That looks more like it right there.
Mm,
See that?
maybe if Jesse was watching, he could tell us.
Yeah.
Jesse, you over there? There's
No,
Gustavo. Did you get back from your trip, Gustavo?
he did. He got a new toy in the mail today too.
Oh,
He did. Look nice.
I threw you off your game. Where are you at now?
Let's see. I showed my AR. Built 2 new ARs. My son-in-law bought an AR. He got an AR pistol, 10.5-inch with the SB3 stock on it, and I built that for him 2 nights ago. Then night before last, I built his dad got an AR for Christmas, and I built that one for him. And I think I actually I posted those on God and Guns. So I built those 2 out. That was a lot of fun. I just went to Arkansas for a hunt this past weekend. Got home Saturday, and I'm leaving again in 2 days. I'm leaving Sunday, going back out again for a few days, and that may be my last one. Then I may be heading to Virginia. I probably am going to be heading to Virginia.
All right.
But I did get to sight my new AR in on Christmas Day afternoon. Everybody got ARs, so everybody was taking them out. Everybody got new optics or something. So we were out shooting guns Christmas Eve and having a good time. Let's see. Oh, I was going to show you my other one too. Did a little horse trading over this past weekend, and
Ain't no horse everything.
I picked up this bad boy. It's a Thompson Center Pro Hunter 50 cal muzzleloader, which I've wanted one forever. I just like the way they look, and I've never owned one. And I had a shotgun that a buddy of mine wanted really bad, and he had this, and I've been trying to buy it from him for a while. And he hit me up. He said, "Hey, you want to trade that gun for that Thompson?" I was like, "Yep, I do." So I got it. One cool thing about that is I'm probably going to buy me a new barrel for it and take that in a new forearm for it. And I'm probably going to get a 7 mag barrel or something and put on it. That way, that's one thing about the Thompsons I like. You can swap out the barrels and stuff and shoot pretty much anything you want to.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you can switch out the Thompson black powder for the regular rifles. That's cool.
Yeah, you just it drops down just like any other. When you take the forearm off up here, there's a pin that sits right in here, and you just knock that pin out, and the barrel comes off. And if you got it scoped, the scope goes with the barrel. So anytime you swap out, you just put it new one on. You're already zeroed in, ready to go, rock and roll.
I used to really like. I had a Thompson Center 4570 government.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved that cart. It was the most useless cartridge in Kentucky. It was just so much fun to shoot. That 400 grain bullet slamming into stuff, man. That was crazy.
Well, the Pro Hunter, they make a 500 Magnum barrel and a 460 Magnum barrel. So I haven't decided which one. I'll probably wind up getting one of those too. I found a site that get pretty good deals on the barrels and stuff. So, hey, we'll see. But hey, I finally got one. I can't wait to shoot the thing. And I just ordered a muzzleloader cleaning kit for it. I got a 54 cal, but it's been pretty abused. But it still shoots. It works well. But it's an MK Knight, so it takes those little bitty plastic things. You put the 209 primer in that little plastic thing and slide it up over the nipple, and they're a pain in the butt to get off. Where this one, you just put the 209 in there, and it's, when you open it back up, it slides it out for you and pops it right out. So it'll be fun. So that's me, man. What about you? What you been up to?
Well, what have I been up to? My dad's been had his other surgery on his other leg, and he recovered a lot faster from that one. I guess since he knew what to expect, it wasn't as unexpected. Plus, his other leg's gotten stronger from the first surgery, so he had a lot of blockages in his legs, and he had the osteoplast where they use balloons and lasers to blow out the plaque out of the arteries.
Mm-hmm.
First one put him on his butt, literally, because he couldn't move himself around and stuff. So I've had to be running and going and helping. And he was in the hospital the first series, and then the second series he was in a rehab slash nursing home until he could get his strength up and move on his own. So that's kept me busy a little bit. And then of course holidays, everything with holidays going on crazy. We had our New Year's Day party every year for the last 10 years. We had a party on New Year's Day, and so a lot of our friends that we've known over the years and people we go to church with, and this year a lot of Audrey's volleyball players and coaches and stuff came. So it's always a big event for us this, at the end of the year, beginning of the year, whatever you want to call it. So that's kept us busy on the personal side. Gun side, I gifted guns to my daughters this year. My Daphne got a Beretta Tomcat, a real small concealable 32 ACP for a small concealed carry pistol, putting her to carry on her, to carry in her purse, however she wants to carry it. We were still working through that. And then Audrey got an AR lower, promise of a build, and so that's the next step. Her birthday's coming up next or this month, later this month. So we've got that going on. Let's see. Gunner got body armor. He got a set of AR 500 level 3 body armor and Coyote, and it's got all the magazine holders and cummerbund and all that stuff. So he's set up.
He loaded up.
He's ready to go to battle. If we give him a helmet, we'd be set. So he's got that. I got myself AR armor. I bought it back in August or September, and it came in like what 2-3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago, I guess it was. So I got me some armor, and so it was just a long time coming. Let's see what else we do. Church security. I did not have church security Sunday. I mean, every Sunday I got church security, but I didn't have to stay in the video room this last Sunday. So that was a break, but I did have to do some other activities in the church. So it's the way it goes. Daily Bible reading. I read my Bible. I'll read quite a few times, and then I'll read something in the news, or I'll read something, or one of the kids will say something that will bring a verse to my memory. Now, can I quote it verbatim? No, I pull up and I'll look up. I know the words of the verse, and so I'll type in the words and I'll find the verse, and then I'll go in there and dig a little deeper, because it's like the God, just reveals things to you all through every day, something new that pops up, and God reminds you of that verse. And so I go back and I read that verse and make sure I'm keeping it in the context. Does this really apply to what I'm thinking it applies to? Is it not just something that sounds close and so I'm going to use it? Now, this is, does this really apply to the, when it was written, did it apply to the people in the form and fashion that I'm trying to apply it to? Or am I just trying to, put stuff where it doesn't belong? You got to be careful of that, because you could take take verses out of the Bible, out of the context of what it was written about, and try to apply it in a real world setting that it misses. It's not real. So make sure you're not doing that. I've had to fight doing that, because I would like to try to defend some things, and then if I took that verse, just this part of the verse, not that part of the verse, that would fight. That would work. You got to make sure it applies in the context. My pastors all the time, make sure you're in context. Make sure that you're doing the background check on the verse, as it were, to make sure that it's applicable to what you're talking about. Let's see. What else did I do? I worked on Puff. He needed a little bit of maintenance. I took him in and I degreased him all the way down and cleaned the bolt really good. It had some gumminess to it. So I cleaned that all the way down, got it cleaned out, relubed, put back in the safe, and then I've worked on Keltec Sub 2000. It had a broken trigger guard. I worked on that. I still got a couple of screws I got to get replaced. What else did I do in the gun world? I worked on my reloaders. I reorganized them and tried to move all my powders into one safe, fireproof location. And so I've been working on that. I don't know. Everything else sort of escapes me at this point in time. Let's see. I don't have church security Sunday. Steve said he was coming in for that event, that Bulwark's alumni event this Saturday.
Oh, is he?
He was. I don't know if he still is. I don't know if Steve's on here or not. Have you seen him on here?
I have not seen him.
Steve might be in bed. I don't know. But the forecast for Saturday is snow here in Kentucky.
Is it?
I think he was sort of backpedaling on that decision to come up here. I don't know. I may be putting words that aren't true in your mouth, Steve, but I have got so much going on. I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. They've told me it's still open if I want to come, but I'm not sure. I got so many events right now that are pulling me in different directions. All right, so that's enough about that. I've rambled long enough. EDC check. What you carrying, Doug?
EDC, hey, got my usual suspect, Block 19, with my night vision sights on it, Student of the Gun edition, and I actually have it in a little paddle holster right at the moment because I pulled my crossbreed off earlier and stick it in that for a little protection.
Oh, here's one of my next projects. You guys will have to look quick because I ain't going to show up at once. You know what that is?
Wait, I can't see what. Hold on.
You see what that is?
What is that?
You can't see it, but just for a second.
Yeah, or something. I can't see. I can't tell what it is.
Can you see that?
Polymer.
80%
lower.
Yeah. Glock.
Oh, Glock.
Glock 19, 80% lower. That might be something I'll be working on in the future. Or it might end up in the bottom of a pond. I don't know, but depends on how the votes go, I guess.
That'd be fun.
Let's see. Where are we at? Okay, yeah, my carry is the Glock 20, Glock 30S. And it's in a super tuck, and then the enhanced lifesaver from Student of the Gun. I got a soft T tourniquet in my other pocket, and I've got SOCOM Elite from Microtech, and my little trusty Olight SR1 baton. I also have my 82 Defender. The little Olight, I use that for like finding stuff under the bed or in the car or under the engine or something. It's got a little magnetic base, and then the Surefire E2 Defender, that's the one I like blast out to the end of my driveway and spot people turning around or dogs chasing coyotes or something like that. They have two different purposes, but that's why I carry two flashlights with me. All right, feedback. Do you have any feedback?
I did not, and I can't check.
I had some feedback, but we're going to pick it up on the next show because I didn't have time to put it in with all the hoop jumping we did to get Philip on the show tonight. So we sort of got lost in the wind.
It was good though. I was glad he could get on. Yeah,
we was glad to get him on such short notice. Also, you got a joke for us. Let's see how.
I do got a joke. So, a 4-year-old boy was talking to his dad, and he said, "Dad, I'm going to get married." Dad says, "Okay. Do you have somebody in mind already?" Little boy says, "Yes." He said, "I'm going to marry Grandma. She said she loves me and I love her and she's great at telling stories." Dad said, "Well, okay, there's only one little slight problem." Little boy said, "What's the problem?" He said, "Well, she's my mother and you can't marry my mother." Little boy says, "Why not? You married mine."
That'll do.
That'll work.
Well, meantime, go ahead.
Point taken, son.
Point taken. Main topic we've done covered. We had Philip on earlier. We're going to jump right down here and tell you guys how you can help the show. Then we'll talk about the Armed Citizen of the Week. You can help us out by using our Devore link. I'm over there looking for some clothes right now. I about wore out all my zipper shirts, all my proper shirts and stuff that I like to wear. I've been wearing them for about 3 or 4 years now. They finally starting to come apart, and they've had lots of use. And so I've got to start. And I've lost quite a bit of weight too. So I went from a 4X to, I went from a 5X to a 4X to a 3X. Now I'm starting to fit in some 2Xs. And so I was putting on some old 2X shirts I had the other day. I'm like, hey man, I might be able to get into these. So as I'm coming down, I'm having to buy new clothes, which is a good thing. Some of my pants are so baggy now, when the wind blows, they flap like a flag.
Starting to tear around the pockets from the waving.
Yeah, starting to get the rag from all the wind. Hoplite Armor, buddy Lyman Bishop up there sells Hoplite Armor. You guys click on the link and buy something from Hoplite, and they will send us a little bit of love. Zija, you guys have been buying Zija, and you guys have been just going straight online and doing it. And I would love you guys for that because I am so busy I can't always keep up. But if you go to guidingguns.myzija.com, you can find out my story about when I started at 465 pounds and how I've lost this weight, kept it off all these years, and how it helps me with inflammation and pain, and from football injuries, car wrecks, weightlifting injuries, things like that. I drink my Moringa oleifera, and that is Zija. The way I take mine is I use the super mix. There's a smart mix for normal size people with normal size problems, and then I take the super mix because I've got a lot of old injuries and stuff that cause me a lot of inflammation that I have to stay on top of, and it's changed my life. It's made me more healthy. All my testimonies over there. I don't want to take you guys' time up here, but check it out, guidingguns.myzija.com. Interius Alliance, we're a life member here at Guiding Guns, and it is a group of patriots and veterans and first responders. They've started their own companies and support military veterans and families of police officers. There's all kinds of different charities they support. So go check those guys out over at interiusalliance.com. And I also put a link in here every time for Russ Bianchi. It's russbianchi.com, B-I-A-C-N-H. Try it again. B-I-A-N-C-H-I is his last name. And he's got a little 3-page thing on there of how to lose the weight that I used in my battle to lose weight. And it's a real simple thing to follow. You just eat these things in moderation. You eat none of these things, and you eat all you want of these things. It's just like 3 little categories. And once you figure it out, you know what you can eat, what you can't eat, and it'll help you lose weight. And it's not, counting calories. It's just things to stay away from, things you can eat all you want. So I throw that in there for you guys. And then Doug, you got the next few here, and you got all the rest of them here.
You changed the order up on me.
Yep.
Hey, Crossbreed holsters. You've heard Troy and I talk about our Super Tuck Deluxe. One of our listeners actually watched over on YouTube, said he got one for Christmas, and he likes it already. So Super Tuck Deluxe, they got the mini tuck, the freedom carry, the appendix carry, the bedside backup. They got a holster that goes in a pocketbook if your wife wants to carry on her. Point is, Crossbreed makes a holster for pretty much anything you want to carry, any situation, and most guns they got out there. But they're the most comfortable holster you're ever going to wear. You stay hidden with them, and they just wear well. I mean, they're just super comfortable. I can't say enough about them. But go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Use our promo code G&G, get a 10% discount on Troy and I for just listening to the show, and help our guys out. Also, Axelson Tactical. If you are looking for a high-performance AR or a custom pistol, I'm going to get me one of those Axe 19s eventually, Troy. That's just going to happen. And but they do custom work on it. They got knives. They have a backpack that converts into an AR carrier, and then you can fold it out and use it as a shooting mat. They got a lot of good stuff over there. Axelson Tactical. They also launched their shirt company, which is called freedomcircususa.com. And I am wearing one of their shirts tonight that I have. And go check those guys out. If you find something good that you like, which you will, use our promo code God and Guns, and Jeff and company and the guys will give you a 10% discount for listening to the show and help out on that. Go check them out at axelsonusa.com. PowerTech lights, we talked about them earlier. They got some bright flashlights. I was going to show you. I got the box for my headlamp that I've been using and trying out and demoing, and that thing is so bright. I've already sold a couple guys have hunted with me, and I got to use it the other day, Troy, down in a timber hunt down in Arkansas. I mean, it was straight backwoods deliverance, dude. In the boat, it was dark. You couldn't find your way through there, and
You hear the banjo playing?
you could hear the banjo cranking up, dude. We were so far back in the woods, and we were 8 feet of water in flooded timber. I mean, and I had my boat down there. It was almost like playing pinball a couple times. My boat was banging off trees and bumping trees trying to get through. And my boat was bigger than the 2 boats that the other guys had width-wise. So they would squeeze through between 2 little trees, and I'd go through and I'd be banging the edges and stuff. But man, I turned that flashlight on and put it in the turbo mode, and it lit up the woods. They were using a light bar out on the front of their boat, and all I had was my headlamp. And man, we rocked right on, no problem. That thing was throwing some light.
Probably throw off some heat too, wouldn't it? Keep your head warm.
It does. On turbo mode, it gets a little warm, but it's not bad. It's not like you think it would be. But then, once we got where we were going, I flipped it over and went to the red mode, and just had a red light in the bottom of the boat, and you can tip it down. It fits on a GoPro head harness. Mm-hmm. So it works great, man. Those things are awesome. Go check our buddies out, PowerTech.com. Use our promo code Gotten Guns, and hey, they will give you 20% discount on any order. My son-in-law just ordered one of the for his new AR that we built. He ordered one of the new lights with the AR mount and the pressure switch for it. So he's waiting on it to come in, and so some pretty good stuff. Go check them out. Also, hey, like I said a while ago, you guys have been doing an awesome job using our link for Palmetto State Armory. If you're like Troy and I, you always go out there and you're always looking at stuff, and you get the deal of the day, and you find stuff that you like. Even if it's just, they had aluminum mags on there the other day for $7.99 a piece, which is ridiculous for a good mag. But I buy little stuff all the time. Just remember to use our promo code. Or the affiliate link that we have with them, and just use that link to start to go buy whatever it is that you want to buy, and nothing changes. It doesn't cost you anything, and it just helps us out on the backside. And we appreciate everybody that has used that link for Christmas and the New Year sales that are going on, and we just appreciate the support, man. That's if you want to help the show, that's how we can do it. And Troy and I have been helping us out for a long time and just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And that's that.
That's that. All right. So our Armed Citizen of the Week, what do you got for us?
Our NRA Armed Citizen of the Week comes to us from our great state of Georgia. Breadman delivers heroics to full armed robber at a Georgia fast food restaurant. He was supposed to be making an early morning bread delivery by truck. Delivery Joseph Chelton delivered some heroics instead when he stumbled upon an armed robbery in progress at a Georgia fast food restaurant, authorities said. Trouble was already underway when Chelton arrived at Hardy's restaurant in the Atlanta suburb of Ellenwood about 6:30 a.m. on Saturday and spotted a terrified employee running out of the back door, according to Clayton County Sheriff's Office. When Chelton realized a pistol-wielding man was allegedly holding up the business, he ran back to his truck and grabbed his gun, authorities said. The suspect, identified as DeMario Quintrell Parrish, had jumped across the counter and pointed a weapon at a female employee demanding cash, according to the statement from the sheriff's office. As the robber attempted to make a getaway, Chelton confronted him and the gunfight erupted, leaving the alleged crook wounded and limping off into a wooded residential area where sheriff's deputy cornered him in a house, according to the sheriff's department. The bread man put his gun up, the robber put his gun up, and the bread man shot him 4 times. The suspect's car was there, but he was able to stumble off into the woods. Kenza Roberts, a manager of Hardee's, told ABC affiliate station WSB-TV in Atlanta. Parrish surrendered to SWAT team after they surrounded his home that he was hiding in, officials said. He was taken to the hospital, treated for 2 gunshot wounds, and later booked into Clayton County Jail. Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill released a statement praising Chelton for intervening and risking his life. Hill said he was so impressed with Chelton for defending those who could not defend themselves that he made the truck driver an honorary deputy and
Wow.
inducted him into the Sheriff's Posse Hall of Fame.
How about that?
I know, right? Marianne Reynolds, the Hardee's employee, who was held up at gunpoint, also applauded Chelton for thwarting the crime and possibly saving her from being harmed. Roberts told WSB TV that the suspect had allegedly robbed the restaurant before.
Yeah.
This man had been here twice. The first, he hurt my employees, Reynolds said. The second time, he jumped over and put a gun physically to me, and I just did what he asked me to do. So
You're carrying a gun, girl.
I know, a second time. So
I'll tell you what. I assume it's a girl.
well,
I could be wrong. It could be a non-binary creature.
Marianne, I'm assuming.
Let's see. You never know. All right.
I started to do the story for the NRA Armed Citizen of our Texas guy, but
Texas.
Yep, Texas.
Yeah, that was something else. It's already left the news cycle. It didn't take them long. They tried to get rid of that one as quick as they could.
Oh yeah.
You know, I get a lot of requests from you guys, and Doug was talking about before the show about doing church security, coming out and doing church security on location with the church and stuff. But we'll have to look into that. I know Doug's talking to some guys about that as well. But you got to, I mean, we can't go everywhere. And I don't know that my plan works for you in your church and in your organization or whatever. So you got to get on it, and you got to, the things you got to remember about church security is you got to keep filters in place. So you got to have people at the doors looking people over, and somebody comes walking up with a trench coat and a wig and a
Fake beard
or a mask or whatever. You don't want those people in your church. I mean, I'm not, Monday morning quarterbacking the guys down in Texas. I mean, they were aware of him and they put people in place, and those are great things. But if you can keep them outside, and you got to get you got to get your pastor to say, hey, you guys have the authority. If someone looks suspicious, you keep them outside. Some pastors will want them to come on in. It's the decision of the leadership of the church, whether it's elder led or deacon led or it's pastor led church. However your organization is structured, you want to make sure that you're good to go within that framework. But your defense of you and your family is your responsibility. And so whether or not you have a church security team in place, you need to be that security team for your family. Now, if you want to extend that out to the church as a whole, you probably need to get permission from whoever is doing that. And if you want to start a team, I can help give you some tools. What I point a lot of people to is the Sheepdog. This is an online program, and you pay a certain fee, and you can download all these manuals and all these training manuals and all these documents that will help put a plan together. And you got to flesh it out with your team on how you guys want to run it and work it. And then you need to get somebody to come in and do some training. You need training on fire extinguishers. You need training on how to screen people. And a good book is Left of Bang. It's a good book of how to identify threats, what signs you're looking for, what kind of eye movements, what kind of, the way they talk. So their posturing, their body language, all those things are going to give you clues as whether or not you can rule them out as being a danger or whether you can't. They're not 100% foolproof, but it will get you a long ways into filtering out 95% of the problems. You can't always catch everything, and that's why you keep updating your security plan. As I've been doing this for 7 years plus, you're always finding holes in your plan. And anything that you're going to be running, you're going to not be perfect to begin with, but you start with something, right? So start by controlling the flow of people. Keep people from outside being able to come in and through places where you have children and women at. lock those doors down, keep those people protected in a zone that they can't have anybody just walk out off the street. If you do, they've got to come through a filter. They got to come through greeters, preferably somebody that's armed, and preferably somebody that knows everybody in the church, or 2 or 3 people that know everybody in the church, and every door that you have open. And this is just a quick thing here we're going to throw out there, but the risk is real out there. I mean, we see it has happened several times this last year that churches have been shot up, and as evil people are controlled by the devil, they're going to do evil things, and you can't expect the police to do it. They can't be there all the time. I mean, even in the great big church that my mom and dad attend down in Florida, there's one uniformed police officer, and he's out front, and there's like 30 different entrances to that place. You got to have a security team at any door it's open, filtering those people out. And I believe they do a pretty good job, but I'm saying anywhere that you have the free flow of people, it's not like it used to be. You can't just have all the doors open and little old Miss Mary has got her own key to the side door. She comes in, so she ain't got to walk all the way through the church.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to make sure little Miss Mary closes and locks that door back when she comes through it, or make sure somebody's there to let Miss Mary in and then close the door back and not leave open access. There's all kinds of places that are vulnerabilities, and those people that are looking to harm people, they sit around and they check things out. And so you've got to keep your eyes out. You need people posted at the doors looking out for problems, and that will probably eliminate 98% of any kind of threat. Just the fact that you've got people that are observant, that are watching, they're looking out, and have that presence of, like that they know what's going on. That will eliminate a lot of people that, someone's paying attention to the doors. But there's a lot of levels, just like Shrek's. There's lots of levels, just like an onion of security. You start out with your base core and you keep putting your layers on top of it, right? You put video cameras in, but you got to start somewhere. And I suggest you get started with whatever you can get started with. A sheepdog, it's not cheap, but it's not cost prohibitive for a church to be able to afford. And you can start with that. That'll get you off the ground running, to get a lot of things in place that you may not have thought of, help flesh it out, and it'll help you guys to be able to stay focused in the right areas, and not wasting time on things that may never happen. So, all right. So I didn't mean to drag that out forever. We really appreciate you guys coming on and hanging out with us tonight. It's getting late, so we need to let you all get to bed. Doug's got to get up early in the morning.
Yep.
And I've got to get up earlier than I want to in the morning. Anything else you got, Doug, before we start wrapping this up?
I'm good, man.
We were thankful that the guys there in Texas were able to put a stop to it as quick as they were able to.
Yes.
From the first shot to the time that the guy was engaged with live fire, I counted 3 seconds. Some people say 2 seconds. Some people say 6 seconds. But from the video, when you can get a gun out of a concealed holster and on target in less than 2 seconds, that's good. That's good. And so that you should be practicing pulling from concealment safely and engaging targets, and you want to try to be able to do that the first shot within 1.5 to 2 seconds. That's moving. It doesn't. When you're training, you'll feel really slow, but after you keep training for a while, you'll be surprised how fast you can come on target.
Yeah, I know that training class I went to. I had it down where I was able to pull from concealed and put a shot on target, and I was doing it in 1.24 seconds.
Yeah.
I tell you, I watched that video. I picked that video apart, man, watching, from the time, zooming in on it, and watching from the time he pulled that shotgun out from under his coat and brought it up. They had almost 6 seconds from the time he pulled the trigger the first shot.
Yeah.
So,
the disadvantage of that team, when I look at it, the guy that was so close, instead of going for the gun, he should have tackled that guy.
mm-hmm.
You can move on that person so much. When I post guys up, I don't expect them to go drawing guns. I expect them to tackle the guy and take him to the ground. You can't pull your gun fast enough, especially if you're not trained, in that I mean, he was within what 2 steps of him.
Yeah.
He should have dropped his weight shoulders and went right and hit him right in the gut. He could have taken him down before that guy could have swung that shotgun up. I guarantee he could have. But I don't want money
Quarterbacking.
Yeah, but I'm saying that you have to think about those things. When you're within arm's reach of somebody, you're better off to grabbing them than you are to try to shoot them, because a moving target is a hard thing to hit. It's easier to tackle somebody than it is to shoot them on the move. So if you're posted right next to a potential problem, take them down. Other people will pile on. I can guarantee it. But if you don't try, I'm not wanting to talk bad of the dead, and I'm sure he did what he thought was best. And I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm saying for you guys out there, if you ever encounter a situation like that, you got to use your brain. If you can't, if you start indicating you're going for a gun, he's going to have to make you the first target. You got to get a hold of that long gun, especially inside of a church. You should be able to get a hold of the end of that gun or move it or knock it down or something. Go for it instead of trying to pull. Because a pistol round is not going to incapacitate most people before they can get that round off, unless you put it right in the eyeballs. Unless you're shutting that brainstem down, they're going to get that round off. So you want to get it off target, off of you, and preferably off everybody else, and take them to the ground. If you're dealing with somebody long gun at short range, the 21-second rule is a legitimate thing. That you can get a gun up and shoot someone within 21 feet. It's very difficult. And that dude was 6 feet probably from him when he took that shotgun blast.
One thing I noticed, because and it's going back at it. Loss of life is horrible. He got shot. He did. But everybody that does church security, or it should be a lesson learned for you. You should be looking at it and saying, okay, what can we learn from this? Right. One thing I saw, I don't know if you saw it or not, but when the gentleman stood up, the first guy that got shot, the security guy, one thing I noticed was it almost looked like he was carrying his gun in the small of his back.
Yeah.
So he had to reach way around to grab his gun.
Sweep that garment.
And he telegraphed it for a very long time before he actually pulled his gun. Because I don't think he ever really got it out before he got shot that first time, when he fired that first shot. And like I said, it was almost 6 seconds from the time that shotgun came up until he pulled the trigger the first shot. And you gotta sweep up and grab that gun. And if you're going to commit to pull a gun, you better pull it fast. Or as fast as you possibly.
You got to get off the target too. You got to be moving. When you're drawing your weapon, this is one of the things you learn when you go to get some good training. You get off the X. You move as you're drawing. Part of your draw is stepping out of the line. So that guy's got to re-engage. He's got to move to you, and that gives you another second maybe to get out of the line of fire, so that you can put fire on him. You can't stand static. You can't stand flat-footed. You got to be moving as soon as you know something's going. You got to get off the X, get out of his line of sight. If he's righty, go to the left. If he's a lefty, go to the right. You just do these drills until you got it down. You never pull straight out and shoot. Your feet got to be moving. You got to get out you got to move. And if you're trying to draw fire away from the crowd, you won't be moving away from people. So you'll move towards the doors. In this case, move off to the left instead of going right in that case. That comes by training. And you got to do training. You got to go get good training. You got to go get good instruction. And then you got to train yourself. You got to get out and shoot, move around obstacles, and move around simulated church pews, and move around things while you're shooting. Those are things that you got to commit to as a church security guy. And it's not natural. Just because you've owned a gun since you've been 13 years old or whatever, doesn't make you a church security guy. It doesn't make you anything. It makes you a gun owner, right? As our buddy Professor Paul said, owning a gun makes you a gun owner. It doesn't make you expert. Just because you go out and shoot cans out in the backyard, or shoot some steel targets, or whatever it is you do, that's not training. You got to go get good instruction from a qualified guy that knows what he's doing, that teaches you defensive shooting. and you need to get proficient in it because the guy that eventually took down the guy, one shot headshot at a distance on the move.
Got a moving target.
That requires skill that doesn't come by going out shooting once every 2-3 months or shooting in the summertime when it's nice and warm. All right, I don't mean to preach, but I just we need to. You guys got to be on top of it. Church security is a serious thing, and people will give you all kinds of grief. Not as much as they used to. When I first started that, man, there was a lot of blowback. People just didn't know why we would need such thing. People being armed in the church, and it's because there's evil people out there. You got to deal with. All right, we're gonna wrap this puppy up. Everybody's going to bed. Bill's done gone to bed.
Yep.
Wrap it. Send your feedback, please, at Troy@GuidingGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GuidingGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review. Like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/Guiding Guns Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you guys are watching, click that subscribe button. Please give us a thumbs up. Those things helps us get found in the big mix of YouTube world. Also, you can follow us on Twitter if you want to be offended by my sometimes political rants and stuff. It's at at Guiding Guns Pod, Pod. Search for us on Instagram. We're on MeWe as a fail-safe should we ever get booted off the other major things. Our website, Doug, is in the mix of getting finished up for us.
Yep, I gotta get that content, man.
And we need to get MailChimp going too, so we'll have everybody's email addresses in case they kick us off all those platforms. All right, Doug, till next time, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Good night, guys. We appreciate you being on with us. We appreciate you hanging in with us. And, we love you guys. Let us know how things are going and send us some feedback if there's anything we can do for you. Anything else, Doug?
Indeed, that's it. Good night, everybody.
I'm going to shut her down.